Yeah. So we got a very special guest today. Could you do me a favor and introduce yourself?
Yeah, it's Andy, aka Boy from Orchard Street.
Much love, G. Much love, and you've had a lengthy journey through the youth authority. So let's go ahead and get into that. So, how old were you when you were first committed to the California Youth Authority?
Um, First committed like about 14 years old, but I got locked up when I was 13.
Damn. So you get busted when you're 13 years old. You're fighting your case for a while, and then they tell you you're going to the California Youth Authority. So when they committed you, how did you feel? Because I know they probably gave you a lengthy ass sentence.
Honestly, dude, compared to the shit that they were trying to give me, I was actually fucking relieved because they were trying to give me 35 to life.
Damn.
So I know my family, my parents, and all that. They were a little bit distressed about it, because
Mhm.
obviously 12 years. At least that was the maximum sentence, right? Juvenile life.
Yeah.
uh, that's a hit on anybody. But yeah, I was just a little relieved that I didn't get washed up, for a completely long time. So
Yeah. Well, it's still a long time, but it's not like the rest of your life. Like you'll still be relatively young when you get out. So
yeah,
fucking
that's all I had in my mind. It was just like, yeah, when I get out, I'm still gonna be good. You know what I mean?
yeah. Yeah, it's a trip because so you get to the youth authority when you're 14 years old, which is on the younger end. So you're with the more rowdy motherfuckers off the bat.
Off the
Like,
bat, yeah,
yeah, so you get to Cabrillo and shit, that shit's cracking, you know what I mean? So
yeah.
how was your experience like when you first get there?
Surprisingly, when I got to SR, man, like I didn't really have that like many enemies within my vicinity.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like I was out there like chunking them all the time. There was a lot of cool homies that I knew from the halls and shit like that. They already knew my get down and everything. So it was pretty smooth transition. From juvenile hall to CYA. In terms of SR.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So right there, Norwalk, it was chill. You know.
So so they tell you in when you get committed, you have a maximum of 12 years, right? When you get to board, what's your original PCD or parole consideration date?
So I was projected to parole. I think it was 2007.
2007. And you got
Yeah.
busted what year?
I got busted in 99. So they gave me time served from the halls
Hmm.
and a minimum of 7 years. So they pretty much just rounded off to 2007 as my first projected board date for parole.
Damn. So that's a long ass fucking time just off the bat. So how do you feel like damn, like 7 years? Like do you
Nah,
have
bro. Like I honestly, like for the crime that I committed, I had homies that were already in jail. They've been in the Pinta, they've been in YA. So
Mhm.
they just told me like, bro, even if they do get you, you're only gonna do like 5 or 7 years. So
Yeah,
to me, that was always the thing behind my
given.
mind. So I wasn't really tripping in terms of like doing the time. It was if you're gonna compare that to 35, 40 life, it's just a no brainer, when you're young. But
Oh yeah.
so it didn't really affect me in that sense. But yeah, in terms of doing time, yeah, it is. When you look at it that way, it is a long time.
That's
7 years.
your the rest of your teenage years.
Yeah,
So
that's
fuck.
pretty much it. No more proms.
Damn. Yeah, and did so you're young, so you only have really two choices, right? Or really you could throw Paso and Preston in there, but mainly you're going to OH close or Nellis.
Right.
Like, did you hear anything about that? Did you have a preference?
I wanted to stay close to home because I'm close to my family, and at that time, you ride into all these chicks, and ain't
Yeah,
nobody
yeah,
gonna go up north. I didn't
yeah,
really know anybody up north. I had like one family member up there. Um, they lived in San Francisco, but that's quite away from Stockton.
yeah.
So yeah, I was trying to stay away from going up there, but um, yeah, everybody there was trying to go to OH close, because it was like I guess they had like more programs there, like
Yeah.
they have more options, and Nellis had that reputation where it was like fucking Gladiator school. You're gonna catch the blues, or you're gonna max out.
Yeah.
I think everybody going into YA, they had that idea, or that hope that they were gonna parole, not knowing that it's just a time bomb.
Yeah. Fuck yeah. And being that it was a time bomb, that's and unfortunately, that's where you ended up going, right?
Yeah, I went to Whittier. Yeah.
How was it when you got there?
It was crazy, bro. It's everything it's everything you heard of and everything, and it's really not what you heard of. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah,
kind of like there's kind of like a happy medium right there where it's like you go there and yeah, everything's cracking, everything's crazy, but it's not like like the shit, like they'll tell you like, oh yeah, people are gonna run up on you and fucking take your cheeks,
yeah,
It
yeah, yeah, yeah,
isn't that crazy, you know what I mean? But yeah, you do get the fucking test. People do go in your locker, try to take your shit, see what you do. People do try to test you. They do try to mind fuck you and do all that shit. And only the strong survive, pretty much.
yeah. Yeah, and it's a trip because even what you said there, like when people say they're gonna try to do that or whatever, like
Right.
they there were that did happen to some people, but it was never like strong arm where it's just right off the bat they're just trying to come here. You mean that
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like if they take your shit first from your locker, then that's an indication that they could probably take other things and push it further and shit,
right.
escalate that shit.
It's a,
Unfortunately,
it's a grooming process. It's a
yeah,
grooming process. They kind of groom you into a case status or a homosexual status or stuff like that. It's never that overt. It's always a subtle process.
yeah. So you get there and you're 14 years old, dog, and you have motherfuckers there that were 19, even a few 20-year-olds. How did you feel when you first got there and seen these old motherfuckers? Like, was that a trip to you, or were you expecting that?
Um, yeah, I mean, I think for the majority of the people there, it was most. I mean, most of those cats were like my age, or a
Yeah,
little bit older. They were rare. You'll see like a 21-year-old. There'll be like one or two in every compa. But it wasn't prevalent. It's like
yeah,
most cats there were teenagers. Like
yeah,
anywhere from 19 down. So yeah, but I'm a short guy, so I mean, yeah,
yeah,
everybody's bigger than me. You know what I mean? So yeah, so that I mean, in that sense, is always that challenge. But I mean, in terms of like older cats, I mean, they weren't that many older cats there. I mean, I could in every compa there was at least like one or two, and that was it.
yeah.
Yeah,
And
it
what I
wasn't.
mean too is because there's a big difference between 14 and 17, like
Yeah,
body
yeah,
wise. You know what I mean? Like you said,
yeah, oh, yeah.
you were a shorter cat, but you were small to begin with because you're young. And then
Right.
you have cats that are like 16, 17. They're only a few years older than you, but they're just a little bit bigger because they went through a little bit more of a maturity development and shit. So fuck it. Did you ever get ran up on like as a 14-year-old by like a 16-year-old, 17-year-old cat?
Hell yeah, dude! Like the first day I got there, actually, well, it was like my first week.
Mm,
Some dude tried to test me. He was a little bit older, and we got down, and then like his homies tried to push up, and then the shit just fucking went from there. So that's when you kind of got started seeing like people testing you and trying to see what you're about, how you're gonna react, how you're gonna respond, and everything is kind of based on what you do at first. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And
yeah,
after that, everybody will kind of set like a certain idea of what kind of person you are. And then from there, it'll kind of it'll pretty much determine like your stay at the facility.
yeah,
So it all depends on the people, man. Because a lot of the time, you see people that they do dumb shit when they first get there, and then they got to spend like a whole time cleaning up their shit. Because a
yeah,
lot of the time, you already know how it is, bro. You go in there, fools lace you up, but then they kind of give you like that middle, that little lightweight lace up. They don't give you like the full scope.
yeah,
So they're kind of setting you up, because they're telling you like, look, man, you don't got to do all that. But that's part of the game, right? They're
yeah,
trying to see what they could get out of you. So like shit like that happens all the time, and that actually happened to me when I first got there. They were like trying to tell me like, hey, mellow down. You don't got to do all that. But they were setting me up. You feel me?
yeah,
So I had to get out of that compa to fucking realize it, because everybody was on that full side. So from there, after I realized what the fuck was going on, you know, I fucking I spent quite an amount of time trying to clean that shit up. You know what I
yeah.
mean?
That's a trip, man, because like you bring that up, how people will say that the cats that were like, going back to age, the cats are probably lacing you up are probably around those ages of 16, 17 years old. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's like it's a trip, man, because like I said, there's a difference in not only like physical like growth, but also mental. Like you're just a 14-year-old kid that doesn't know anything, and these motherfuckers are kind of taking advantage of that. That's kind of fucked up, man.
Yeah, no. The thing is that the rules are different, right? Like when you're out here in the streets, man, they really ain't no rules. You know, there's just like certain fucking like hard rules, you know, that you ain't supposed to do and shit like that. But you know, as far as like going to into depth about like, you know, mental manipulation and shit like that, like, you know, we don't do none of that shit out here like that. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? So it's like, you know, you go in there and it's just like it has to be straightforward, you know, no coward shit, like put it on the front page, you know what I mean? So but that's the way that's kind of part, like I said, that's part of like, you know, you growing up in fucking YA is it's gonna give you, you know, different experience, you know, in terms of what you're made of, and also, you know, the psychological development that
yeah,
you'll gain in there from like keeping your head strong as well, you know, because you could have all the chunkums in the world, but if your mind is weak, you're fucked. You feel me?
yeah,
So that right there, it's a fucking hard lesson to learn for anybody that goes through that process of going to jail and shit like that. I don't know if they even have like jails like fucking Nellis anymore. I don't think they do. But you know, in that time, that was a fucking hard lesson to learn for anybody that went in there. You
yeah.
know,
And
so
I've seen that a few times where cats would just fuck somebody up, and then they'd be the case. It's like, damn, this fool like broke this fool down. You know what I mean? It's
I've seen
like,
that shit. I've seen that shit a lot of times.
yeah, where it's like, damn, it's like, dog, you just whooped this fool's ass. How the fuck are you bowing down to him?
Yeah, it's because he got stripped from his fucking manhood, you know, in his head. You feel me? So
Yeah,
that fucks a lot of people up, man. They're not headstrong. They can't deal with the pressure.
yeah, that's a trip, man. So, when you said they tested you, like, if you don't mind going into a little bit more detail to that, like, did they bag you up? Did they shoot at you? What kind of a test did they put you through?
Yeah, so I got down with this one cat, and basically this cat was like, "Look, man, you know, I threw a shot out there, but you know, I wasn't trying to direct it towards you."
Mm,
But I'm like, "Dude, I'm the only one that got down." He was like, "No, don't trip, but you know, if you feel offended, we could get down in the blind." You feel me? So
yeah,
that was the first fuck up, you know, taking a fade where somebody
in the
that
blind.
fucking shot at you in the blind. You feel me? Like
Yeah,
you, yeah. I mean, after that, you never do that shit. You feel me? Anybody shoot at you is just like on sight. So, but you know, that was one of those lessons where it's like you're still doing the right thing, but you're doing it at the wrong time.
yeah,
That wrong that fucking that distance from, you know, what happened and what you did, it's very fucking long. So it could cause a lot of damage for anybody that's barely getting there, trying to set up a reputation. It'll throw you back. So yeah, so stuff like that.
yeah.
Same thing when they bag you up. You know, I've never been bagged up myself, bro. Nobody's ever taken none of my shit, but I've seen it where like some cats, they'll take a bar of soap, you know, but you know, a lot of these new cats, they don't even notice that shit. You know, they
Yeah,
have like 10 bars of soap. You know what I mean? So one of them gone. Like a lot of the time they don't notice it, but they'll take one. You know,
yeah,
and if he doesn't get up and say something, let's say you fucking, you know how it is in the morning. It's a hustle and bustle. You wake up, you got 5 minutes.
yeah,
Bam. You got to do your fucking grooming. You know, you go inside the fucking bathroom, you brush your teeth, you come out. You ain't got time to count all your soaps. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
right there, it's a subtle thing. You know, like is it the whole locker? No, but it's a bar of soap, and that requires you to get up and throw a fuck. You know what I mean?
yeah,
So, and a lot of the times, a lot of these cats didn't, and that set them back. You know, because technically they got jacked.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? So it's little subtle shit like that. But yeah, that's it.
yeah.
Shit's crazy, man.
I just want to explain the importance of what you're saying when it comes to getting when somebody's shooting at you, right? So when somebody shoots at you, they basically disrespect your your loved ones that have passed away, and it's supposed to be on site. Like as soon as you hear that, you're supposed to get down with them. So it
Yep.
sounds like what happened with you is they kind of told you, don't even worry about it. We'll catch you blind. Like, and you're young, you don't really know like too much of the game. So you're like, all right, fuck it, we're gonna get down. Like you still like in your eyes, you think we're gonna handle this shit. Like, but not knowing that they're kind of setting you up, and they do that a lot. Like you're talking about mind manipulation. You'll see motherfuckers that do that a lot. They'll try to come at you straight, like, "Hey, dog, don't worry about it. I took some of your shit, but it's cool. Like, we'll catch your fade later. You know, you don't want to get too much attention of the staff and this and that." And you'll be like, "Oh, all right, dog." And then that fool go around telling everybody, "I bagged that fool up. He ain't doing shit."
Yeah. Now that happens a lot, bro, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you know, And especially when it's somebody that's been there for a minute, you know, ain't nobody gonna give you your side. You feel me? Like they're
Yeah.
gonna be over there with this cat because they know him, they're cool with him. You just got here, so they're just like, all right, you know, we're not gonna tell them anything. We're not gonna tell them, hey, you're fucking up right here. You know what I'm saying? Like, hey, handle business. They're not gonna tell you that, you know, because the other cat got preference.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? He's been there longer. I'm a new booty, according to them, right?
Yeah.
What do they call them? Fish, right?
Fish. Yeah.
So you're
Pescados.
a
Yeah.
fish. You just got here. You're still in the fishbowl. You know, yeah. So yeah, that was a lesson for me to learn. You know, I learned it the hard way, but I learned it. After
Yeah.
that, it game on. You know.
Yeah. So fucking you got down with that fool, and then you got down. How many other people did you have to get down with behind that?
Nobody really, but it was just like kind of like the optics. You know, like bam, like
Yeah.
damn, you let that happen. That's cold. You know.
Yeah.
Into, you know, just going into the main line. You know, little people fucking talking here and there. Bam, you gotta handle them. You know what I'm saying? Or if
Yeah.
you have a doubt in your mind, like, hey, you trying to doubt my status? Fuck it, let's go. You know, stuff like that. It wasn't
Yeah.
really like anybody like jumped the cart and were like, hey, fuck you. You know, you ain't shit. You know, it wasn't
Yeah.
never like that. It was more like, you know, the regard. Like, I don't regard you as high as this, but they won't actually tell you. You feel me?
Yeah.
So to me, that like, you know, coming into fucking YA, I'm like the only fool from the hood there. You know, I have a bunch of enemies, and having a high regard on my image was very important to me. You know.
Yeah. You know, I'm glad you brought that up about like kind of in a way we have to assume or even anticipate what other people are thinking because when I first got out, right,
Right.
my wife would trip out like because I'd be like, she'd be like, why are you tripping? I'm like, oh, this fool's probably trying to do this, trying to do that, and she's like, damn, it's nothing like that. What the fuck are you tripping on? You know what I
Right.
mean? But it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
'cause
Yeah.
you're right because when you're in there, especially in Nellis, like you can't just say, "Oh, give anyone the benefit of the doubt."
Nah.
When
Fuck.
it comes
There
to
is no.
you, yeah, when it comes to
Yeah.
you, like nah,
Right.
hell nah. If they did something, maybe like, "Well, I know homie, he's been straight, whatever," right? Like I'll give him the benefit of the doubt. But it was like if somebody's trying to, if you feel slighted in any way, then you can't be like, "Oh, he didn't mean that." Like
Yeah.
nah,
Yeah.
hell nah. Like that's fucking a recipe for disaster. So it's a
Right.
trip, man, because that kind of sticks with you for a long ass time after you leave.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I had a hard time with that on myself. You know, when I got out. But you know, I feel like the longer you stay out, the longer, you know, the better you get at it. You know, like
Yeah,
dealing
hell
with
yeah.
those kind of problems. So yeah, dude. Yeah, that's it's a real thing in there. That's a real thing in there.
Yeah, fuck yeah. So you're getting down and you end up going to Adams, right?
Yeah, I went to Adams. At that time, it was just like I mean, it's always been like a programming compa, you know.
Yeah,
It's always been like a programming compa. I got sent there because there was like this cat. His name was Steve Garrett. He
yeah,
used to like people that got locked up for murder. He used to like keeping people in his compa for a long time. I
yeah,
think like his caseload were like 75%, you know, homicide offenders, you know, or
yeah,
somewhere category one, or like, you know, like they did more like than 7 years or some shit, you know.
yeah.
He likes keeping people around for a long time, so he pulled me to that compa, and I was there. I was there pretty much till I left, but you know, I had my little hiccups. I went to different compas after that. I did a fucking few box programs, you know.
What were those programs for?
One of them was assault staff, and the other one was causing tension, too much tension in the compa. They got rid of me,
Damn.
and the other one was just for like, you know, I was chunking them a lot in school too, you know. So they just kind of just came pick me up one day and were like, "Fuck it, you gotta go."
And that's always the worst. Like for me, like whenever I went to lock up for like group attacks or riots or whatever, it was always cool because I know what I'm going for. But talk about that when they just snatch you up out of your cottage and shit. How
I
does
got
that
snatched.
happen when you
I
could?
got snatched from school.
Oh shit!
Yeah,
Did you?
right after I passed the metal detector, they just came grab me, dude, and my shit was already bagged up. You know, so I was, yeah, I ended up in Nick. No, at that time I ended up in Taft,
Oh shit!
and yeah, I did like 2 months in Taft and like another 2 months in Nixon.
Were you confused? Like what the fuck?
Now I already knew, bro. I mean, they already have told me, you're fucking doing too much. because
Yeah.
I'll go to school in the morning, I'll get down, I'll come back, send me back to school, and I'll get down again. So, and that compa, that wasn't really something normal. Everybody there they were all programmers.
Yeah.
A lot of those cats already had stopped fucking around. They were just going they were trying to go home.
But a lot of them were older too, right?
Yeah. A lot of those cats were older. Yeah.
Yeah, because I know, like, it's crazy you mentioned that earlier, the staff would bring on all the murderers, and the reason for that, I would think, is because they had longer sentences,
Right.
and he's trying to get them to understand you can live more comfortably while you're here if you follow this program. You don't have to do what everybody else is doing out there, but at the same time, like, you're young, right? You're 14, 15 years old.
Yeah.
So it's like you ain't trying to see that. You're trying to fucking, you hear about the school. Did that kind of pump you up, hearing about the school area, seeing what's going on over there and other
Bro,
cottages and shit?
the first day I went to school, I saw like 3 or 4 fights. I was
Yeah.
pumped up.
Yeah.
I was pumped up. I was like, oh yeah. Gladiator school's a fucking understatement,
Yeah.
This is a fucking free for all here.
Yeah.
So yeah, I fucking loved it. I loved it. I saw that shit, and it was gangster, bro. And that's kind of what I was expecting.
Yeah. And for people that don't know, like, the school area was something else. Like,
Shit was lit.
yeah, like, you would see fights like all the fucking time. If once those, like, you get released, when you're walking to school, you're seeing fights. When you're getting released out of the classroom, it's like, it seems like the only time where there wasn't really too much activity is when everybody was already in their class. But even that's some shit could crack. But fucking, but that's like when the downtime, you know what I mean? Whenever there was movement, that shit was fucking cracking.
Yeah. Yeah, you
Yeah,
just started hearing fucking alarms go off everywhere.
yeah, beep, 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 beep. I
Yeah.
remember I saw some time when these two fools were chunking them, and nobody noticed because the staff had ran somewhere else. I was like, oh shit, these fools straight got away with that shit.
Yeah, no, that's happened a lot of times that I
Yeah,
seen, like, yeah, fucking staff running one way, and sometimes you're walking in the hallway, you see somebody you want to chunk them, you just be like, fuck it, let's do it right here.
yeah, hell yeah, the
But all the
hallways.
time, because I feel like a lot of cats in there, they were trying to get like the most out of a fight, so
Yeah,
if you can just walk a little bit further, hit a little corner, and then be out of the sight of staff, that's great, because
yeah,
you fucking get a few more seconds. Not a lot, you'll get maybe like another 10, 20 seconds, but you already know in a fight when you're throwing fucking blows like at 1,000 miles per hour, 20, 30 seconds can mean everything, for a
yeah,
fight. So
yeah.
yeah.
And that's why a lot of people wanted to catch blinds too, because they didn't want that shit to be broken up prematurely. You know what I mean? So it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
if you had a rock and roll, you had a rock and roll. But if that shit could wait, you definitely wanted to try to get, like you said, get the
Oh
most out
yeah.
of it.
Yep.
And even that, when I would tell people on the streets, like when I ended up getting out, if we ever had a fight, not that I'm a big old fucking fighter and shit, right? But whenever I had to get down with somebody, I'd always say, we could go in the cut. We get down if you want all fucking, you mean we could fight 10, 20 rounds if you want. If we
Yeah.
just trip out because they're just used to fighting on the streets till somebody breaks it up or whatever. I'm like, nah, fuck
I,
that
that's
shit.
yeah, I noticed that's really what they want. They want somebody to break it up, a lot of the cats. But I mean, yeah,
Yeah,
in there you'll definitely learn the value of fighting as long as you can.
yeah, it's
You
great.
know,
Yeah. So, how long did you end up did you end up staying in Nellis?
Nellis, you know what? I think I left in 2004.
2004. So
Yeah,
right
like
when,
towards the middle, like right before they closed, pretty much.
damn. So you
Yeah.
got there in what 99 or 2000?
No, I got there in 2000.
So you got there in 2000. You spent 4 years there, which you're 18 at this time.
Yeah, I'm 18 already.
You're 18 years old. I mean, you spent your teenage years in Dallas. How did it feel to leave?
Well, I went to Stockton, so that felt long. It felt like a
Oh
long ass
yeah,
drive. And so I went over there. My caseload, he was like, you know what, man? I know you want to stay down here, but I'm gonna send you to Stockton, so maybe you'll have a chance to fucking parole. But I was already maxed out. I'm like, bro, it doesn't matter, I'm not. You're like, no, but just try it out. Just try it out. Go out there and see what you can do out there, and maybe you'll like it. They have outwork program and all this shit. I went
oh,
out there.
did like DeWitt?
Yeah, it was DeWitt Nelson. I
Yeah.
went out there, but yeah, that shit didn't last too long.
Tell me about that bus ride, because a lot of people don't understand. Like when you're in the halls and you're going to like, especially for us in LA County, when you're in the halls and you're going from like Central or LP to Silmore, that shit seems long as fuck, right?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
you're going from Whittier to fucking Stockton. Could you describe that ride?
yeah. That shit was long, bro. Cause you're shackled up. You know, like a lot of people don't realize that when you're in a van, we know, right? When you're in a van, you're getting transported to a different facility. You're fucking shackled up. And when you
Yeah,
come from a place like Nellis, they shackle your fucking ankles too. You know.
yeah,
So that's a very uncomfortable ride because there's no way that you can move to the side. You know, usually there's another cat next to you, so you can't lean on his shoulder. You know,
yeah, yeah,
it's not like being right there with your family, with your girl, or taking a long trip. It's not the same thing.
yeah,
And yeah, the shackles is fucking crazy because they shackle you from your ankle to your fucking waist, and then from your waist they shackle your wrist. So you're
yeah.
all you're all shackled up.
They got that little bar thing too.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Little bar, yeah. So, and you know, if I know you got kind of lucky if you're on the van because you get the van or you get that bus. Because the
yeah,
van, it's not much more comfortable, but at least it's a little softer on that bus. That shit fucking sucks.
yeah,
And
yeah.
that's like, and it's just like, how long does it go to Stockton? What? It's probably like 6 hours. But
Yeah, just about that.
on that bus or on that van, I don't. It just seems fucking. It's like 12 hours for some reason. Like, damn, get me the fuck over there already.
Yeah, that shit ain't no joke. I came down on the bus actually.
Yeah,
I,
so you
I
know that fucking
yeah,
hard
yeah,
ass.
yeah. I
Yeah.
came down on the bus.
So when you get to a Dewitt, which is more like a program institution,
Hmm.
uh, how was it there? Did you have it in your mind that you're gonna try to turn that shit up, or were you like, I'm gonna give it a shot?
No, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give it a shot.
Yeah,
I went over there. I chilled out. There was a bunch of homies right there that came from Nellis, homies that came from OH Close,
yeah,
and yeah. So we were chilling. We had a little job right there, fucking. But I wasn't used to being around the norteños. So I was, I had my little hiccups there with them cats,
yeah,
and but like I said, that institution, like a lot of those cats are laid out too. They're just like trying to go home.
yeah,
And, but there were some that weren't. And kind of those are the guys I used to kind of get into it with. You know what I'm saying? Because when I see them like trying to act a certain way, kind of I felt offended.
yeah,
Because I was like, man, what the fuck? I shouldn't even be here with you motherfuckers. But yeah, it was just me more than anything though. It wasn't them trying to disrespect me or anything. They were just being them. But I felt like I was kind of going out, like, man, I can't be here, man. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah. It's a trip, man. That's like your own kind of insecurity, like just
Yeah, that's
yeah,
that's all it is, bro. It's because like I don't know, like you already know the beef between the north and the south. That it's pretty heavy. Well, it was back then.
yeah,
I don't know how it is now, but yeah, shit was pretty heavy. So being around them was kind of a bothersome situation, to say the
yeah.
least.
And how did that work over there in DeWitt? Because I know in other institutions, like there's no one-on-one, like it'll crack, or there's some places where it is one-on-one. But
No,
like
yeah, they don't allow one-on-ones there.
damn,
Yeah, so if you get down with one of them, it's gonna crack, you know.
yeah,
But the thing is that when you're at work, they ain't nobody there, so you get the blinds all day.
mm,
So
yeah,
that's usually where I have my little hiccups. When I used to go to work, I run into guys from other compas that I used to hear were trying to push up on homies over there.
yeah,
We'll get it going. So, but yeah, in terms of like they still try to have their little rules, but it wasn't nowhere near like TS or Nellis.
yeah, yeah. So fucking, how long did you last there?
I last less than a year, bro. It was like probably like 8 months.
What
Uh,
was it that got you sent out?
I was slanging a little bit of drugs in there, bro. So yeah, I got cracked.
Was
Yeah.
it
So
a staff that brought that shit in? Because that's far as fuck.
no, no, I had a homie that he was from up north. He had
Yeah.
a connection that used to give him to visit, and then bam, we
Okay.
used to make the exchange right there.
Yeah, yeah.
So
Damn. So you up there serving and shit? What they caught you with that shit?
yeah, they got me, dude, red-handed. Yeah.
Damn. How did that feel?
Felt like shit because as soon as I got caught with it, they kind of just gaffled me and I couldn't do anything. I was like, fuck, I want to go out with a bang at least. But
Yeah,
nah,
yeah.
the holding room and let's go.
Also, they got holding rooms over there too.
Yeah, every compa has a holding room.
Are they the same as the ones in TS? Like the little closets and shit?
Yeah, nah, not really, dude. They're a little bit smaller.
Oh fuck.
Yeah. But yeah, you still get to shower and do everything with everyone else.
Yeah.
The thing is that they kind of close everything out before they let you out, you know?
Damn. Yeah.
So, yeah, so if you got to shower, you got to go to the restroom, you got to call them, and then they'll take you out. They'll close down the like the wing, and have everybody on their bunks, and then they'll kind of handcuff you and walk you over there.
Damn. So did you know right away you were gonna leave once they snatched you up, or did you have to go
Uh,
to like boarding all
I
that
knew
shit?
it. I knew it. They were trying to tell me something else. They were like, "Oh, we're gonna work with you. You know, we're gonna keep you here. You know." And I'm like, "All right, let me know."
Yeah.
So bam. But I already knew, like, you know, they try to tell you that to calm you down so you don't do
Yeah.
anything stupid, you know. But then, you know, the next day, fucking, you see somebody come to your door, boom, 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 hear a bunch of keys. You already know that's you. You gone.
Yeah.
So
Coming with that spaceman suit.
yeah,
Yeah, so fucking yeah, they throw you in that spaceman suit. You're on that bus again. No, you're on the bus now. You said like shackled up again. Where you headed to this time?
going to YTS.
Damn.
Yeah.
So another long ass fucking ride. Is it longer on the bus than the van?
Fuck yeah, dude. When you said that shit felt like 12 hours. That
Yeah.
shit felt like a whole day for me. It was like a day event, you know, because I woke up. I remember waking up, eating. Then I got to TS, and it was just like, fuck. It was like the day's gone.
Yeah,
You know
like
what I
10
mean?
o'clock at night already.
It felt like that, you know. But yeah, it's a long ass fucking trip.
Yeah, what I tripped out on TS, what was a little different about TS is that when you get there, they throw you in a cage and shit right away. I was like, what did they do that to you?
You know what? I don't even remember. I was telling Paulo this the other day. I was like, man, half of the shit that happened there, I hardly fucking remember. Yeah, like little details like that. They had to
Yeah,
be like events, you know.
yeah,
But yeah,
yeah.
I don't remember exactly how I got booked into TS.
Yeah, it's a trip. So, how old were you when you got over there?
TS, I think I was still 18.
Damn, so you're 18 years old. So you still got like 6.5, 7 years to go.
Yeah.
Damn, fucking, that's a trip, man. So were you tripping out like shit? Like I'm gonna like, you're gonna max out, but did you have any hope when you were in Dewitt that you could maybe get some time cut, or was that like never a factor in your head?
Nah. I already knew. Eventually I was gonna end up in TS eventually. Yeah, it's like you just know your personality. You already know what you're willing to take, what you can't. And
Yeah,
I was already on a thread over there. You know, like I was chunking it with some people, so it was more like, you know, it's gonna happen eventually. When, that's the question. But
yeah.
I already knew I was gonna get to TS. I was just trying to enjoy it as much as I could, pretty
Mm.
much.
So when you get to TS, what happens there? Is it cracking over there, or is it more mellow? Because you're old, you're a little older now. Well, you're 18. You're probably you're on the younger end there. But fucking, like, how is it for you? How are you taking everything in? Are you like, you know what? I'm gonna chill out. I'm gonna peep out what's going on. Or are you like, nah, fuck that. It's time to turn this shit up.
Uh, so TS, to me, it was more chill than Nellis for sure.
Yeah,
Um, the program was different, but it didn't take away the severity of, you know, the situation there, you know, because this shit could get crazy. It could turn up from 0 to 100
yeah,
less than a fucking millisecond. So yeah, it was just a different trip, you know, because like I'm not used to people like fucking trying to be cool, like oh, we're all homies, you know, off the bat.
yeah,
Usually you kind of earn that shit through Netflix, you know. Like I had a lot of
yeah,
homies that I was fucking smooth with from other compas, you know, that, you
yeah,
know, throughout my time I kind of gained my reputation, and you know, you get love from people all the time, you know. But in TS it was just off the bat. It was just like, you know, here you go. And
yeah,
you know, that was just a sentiment, but then, you know, even with like, you get a little care package and shit, you know,
yeah. The
like they
homies trying
look
to look
out for
out for
you.
you. Yeah,
Yeah, so that was different, like for me, because I'm not used to that shit, you know. I was in Ellis all that time, and you know, you only do that to people, you know, pretty much.
or people from your area, like fuck, or yeah, shit like that. Yeah,
Yeah, so that was different for me. And then my first day in the day room and shit, fucking it cracked off. Some fool
Damn.
ended up getting airlifted, to the fucking hospital. He got shanked in his neck.
Ooh.
Oh, to me that was like, all right, so this is where we're going with this, right?
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
like, all right, this is now we're using toys, So I was like, all right. So that was kind of like, all right, like a sobering moment where I was like, all right, so this is the program we're gonna be fucking with over here. And
yeah. And for
it
the
was
people
like,
that don't know, like there, if you got somebody airlifted, like fools would brag about that shit. Like, and
yeah,
it was like and people get excited to see the helicopter come. I used to trip out on that shit. Like, damn, these motherfuckers are wild. Like, I remember
yeah,
a helicopter came, fools are banging on the door, boom, 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 yeah. I'm like, damn, that's fucking wild, man. These motherfuckers are crazy.
yeah. Yeah, it was all about reinforcing that fear, and that was mainly what that institution was about, and the program there too. It was just kind of reinforcing the fear of supremacy, like the organization, the homies there, they were trying to maintain that foothold
Yeah,
in that facility, and in order to do that, you have to strike, the some shock,
yeah,
and when you fucking stabbing somebody in the fucking neck, I mean, if that ain't shocking enough for you, I don't know what else you need. So a lot of people like especially a lot of the Crips and Bloods and all them, they kind of they towed a line because they were
yeah,
like that, they didn't have it, well, they didn't have the numbers for one,
yeah,
and then two, that they just didn't. A lot of them didn't really have it in them to be like, hey, I'm willing to go to the joint. I'm willing to do this. I'm willing to do that.
yeah.
Um, Rare exceptions, but yeah, the majority of them as a collective, they didn't have that mentality.
Yeah, you know, it's a trip. I talked to a few of them that were on the other side of that. You know what I mean? And so
Right.
it was a trip because like they were the ones that were like, nah, fuck that. But even like I was talking to, was it Yay or Punchy? I forgot. One of them had said like how you said like a lot of people would toe the line because it's just like there's also people just trying to go home too. You know what I mean? Like you have cats that
Yeah.
had been there for years and like fuck that. Like I'm just tired of this shit. I'd rather go home. I'll just deal whatever this bullshit is and get the fuck out of here. And you're right. Like who the fuck wants to go to the joint when you're like a year away from the house?
Yeah. Yeah. That was kind of like the underlying um distinction between what we did and what they did. Right. It was just like, how far are you willing to go?
Yeah,
And for them, it was like, bro, I'm just. This is just a little train ride. I'm not. It's not gonna fucking determine my life. At the end of the day, none of this shit counts in prison, right?
yeah,
You're
yeah,
not building stripes. And homie was just like, dog, my career started like 10 years ago, you know?
yeah.
So this is gonna go into the repertoire.
Yeah, it's a trip though, because when you're a youngster, like you think you think it's forever, but nah, that shit really at the end of the day really doesn't kind of last. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it is what it is. But fucking so how was your stay in YTS after that?
It was smooth. There was a lot of homies that I knew already.
Yeah,
So as soon as I got there, I started getting kites from homies like, hey, come over here, come over here, come over here, come over here. Try to make, I'm gonna get at this cat to get you over here. There was a lot of cats right there, like supervisors and managers and shit, or I forgot what they were called. But that they had that kind of pool where somebody requested you, they'll get you to that compa.
yeah,
You know, there was times where like they'll walk from one compa to another with this cat. You know,
yeah,
so it was crazy. That to me was a trip because I was just like, what the fuck,
yeah,
Like I already knew, like I knew how to read, I knew how to be observant. So when I see a staff do that, I'm like, all right, this guy's in the pocket or this chick's
yeah,
in the pocket. So I'm like,
yeah,
damn, the homie got this shit sold, bro.
yeah. It was a trip, man.
Sold. So I mean, the transition was cool. I mean, the only thing I had to get used to was just like the whole um racial divide, because
Yeah,
I grew up in HP, so like they ain't really that many like African Americans here. So I never really developed. And I went to the schools in South Central, because I went to like eight or nine middle schools.
mhm,
So yeah, I went to a lot of South Central, but I never really had like my beef wasn't with them. You feel me? It was more
yeah,
like with whoever beefed it with my neighborhood.
yeah,
So yeah, I never really developed that kind of animosity towards them, and that was something new for me.
yeah, yeah, yeah. That was a trip because especially like when you're in Nellis, like there is a divide between like yeah, you got the respected black, you got the female raza, like they are separate, but at the same time, you still chop it up. You know what I mean? You're still cool with a gang of motherfuckers. Like, oh yeah, it was cool as fuck. So it's like it was a trip to see, like, damn, like motherfuckers are just straight racist
Yeah,
as fuck over here.
they were like peckerwoods, bro. And yeah, and speaking of Nellis, there was fucking situations where like you had like a crip or a blood being ramfla with a homie, you know?
Yeah,
That
yeah,
was that was kind of like not a norm, but it was just like, if you could get to that type of like closeness with a black, then obviously the racial divide is like way out of the question,
yeah,
so going in here and then seeing some of these cats too that were like that just go full blown, that was a trip. I was like, holy shit, what happened? You know,
yeah.
I
That's
was like,
that's
what the
what
fuck happened?
that's what I tripped out on, because when I was in Nellis, there was a homie, a milkman, rest in peace, from Pasadena, Devil Lanes.
The homie right there.
Yeah,
That was cool.
yeah, fuck yeah. And if you shot at my neighborhood, that fool catch a fade with you.
He did. I was
Yeah,
there. I was in Adams with that cat, and I feel
yeah,
like, hey, anybody shot at Flores? That was the first thing he said. You know,
yeah, yeah. That was a boy, like, for real, like, much love, like man, like I always wanted to link up with him on the street, man. Unfortunately, like, we never had that opportunity. But fucking but like, for me, I always tripped out when cats would start cracking ears and shit. I'd be like, I could never do that, you know what I mean? Because it's
yeah,
like that was a fucking boy. Just out of respect for just that one cat, you know what I mean? Not only
right,
him, but just out of respect for him, like, that was enough for me to say nah. But there were other cats too, like a face from neighborhood Pyro was cool as fuck,
right.
and but fucking there were other homies too, but it was a trip because in YTS, like you said, you would see cats that would just straight crack ears. You'd be like, dog, weren't you cool as fuck with homie over there?
Yeah, super out of character. Yeah, so that was to me like I was just like, you know what, bro? I'm not gonna be fake. I'm just gonna keep it 100. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So I told the homies like, look, you can do whatever the fuck you want. You want to implement rules, go for it. That's on you. I understand. I know the dynamics, bro. Like you got a fucking organization. You're not two different organizations for no reason. Somebody has to win. There's
yeah,
two teams. Somebody has to win, and I'm on this team, so I'm gonna fight for my team to win, and that's
mhm,
just the bottom line. So
yeah,
the homies already had things established there. They already had the rules, like don't touch the TV. Some homies could walk out to the day room, crack ears. They don't do shit. They try to do something. They go on the light. That was kind of like the crazy
damn,
thing.
fucked up, yeah,
But we had to maintain order. So
yeah,
it's just like whatever the homies decided to do before I got there, because this is obviously something that's already been established way before I got there.
yeah,
I had to just keep going. That's it. I didn't have to fall into their fucking line of enforcement. Like cracking ears and do all that. But I really did have to enforce the cultural norm there, which is, we maintain the supremacy.
yeah.
That was
That's
pretty much it.
that's a trip, man. And yeah, even I think it was a Jolly that mentioned he didn't even think a lot of it was racial. Is what he said. Well, he said, of course there was racial element to it, but he said a lot. He thought a lot of it was, like you said, mind games. A lot of it was like maintaining that order and just like pushing, you know what I mean, setting the narrative. And it's
Right.
crazy, man. Like that's just a trip. So fucking were there any times where you ended up in the Rock or anything? Or
Yeah, I did a rock program at least once or twice a year since I was
damn,
there. Yeah.
damn.
I always ended up in the rock.
How was that for you?
Fucking frustrating because a lot of the time they will accuse me of shot calling and all this shit. I'm like, bro, there ain't no fucking shot callers here.
Yeah, yeah,
But they know there is no shot callers. But they
yeah,
just like, you're just an influencer.
yeah.
Every time you go somewhere, there's always something that changes. So I don't know why, but yeah, I ended up in the rock a lot of the time.
And is the Rock there? Would you say it's different than Taft or Nellis?
Um,
I mean, Taft
yeah,
or
yeah,
Nixon?
hell yeah, yeah, it's very different. Yeah, I mean, Taft was different from Nixon.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, low key.
all of them,
Yeah,
all of them are different. Because they're like in Nixon, you really can't do shit. You're in a fucking box. And that's just like super Star Wars-ish. Like you fucking, you
yeah,
walk in there like, what the fuck is this?
yeah,
There's a control center in the middle. That's just weird. And then
yeah.
you go to Taft, and it's like, now this is like death row.
That's like the dungeon. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a fucking dungeon. It's like fucking old ass walls, fucking piss, boogers, and shit all over it. You don't even want to touch that shit. So yeah, and it smells weird. Like,
Yeah, fuck
like
yeah.
as soon as they open the door, I smell Taft. You already know
Yeah,
how that shit smells.
yeah. You get like a little tingle in your fucking nose, and you're like, what the fuck is this shit?
Yeah, yeah, and it starts getting into your fucking neurons and shit. It starts getting you all fucking like, God damn, here we go again. So
Yeah,
with Taft, it it has its good and its bad. Good because you could still get staff to bring your shit. So you could have a comfortable stay somewhat.
yeah.
Um, but the difference between Taft and like excuse me, The Rock and Taft and Nixon is that you could get active still right there.
Yeah, yeah. Like
You
you
can
come
get
out
active.
as in groups and shit.
Yep. That's right. You can get active still. So, oh yeah, that group aspect too. Like that's something that never happened in fucking Taft or Nixon.
Yeah,
You come out with one other person in Nixon. That was it.
yeah, yeah.
Whoever
Because
was your roommate.
when I was talking with the Diablo from Venice, he said a few times they try to integrate program but they'd be like 2 and 2 just to see how
Yeah.
it work out, and every time they did that, it would crack.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so in the Rock, what would they bring out with like something like 4 or 5 people? You could play fucking basketball and shit.
Um. Usually, I don't, honestly that part I don't remember either. I want to say 5 or 6 maybe.
Yeah,
But we used to come out every day and do rutina like there all day.
damn.
Yeah, so our program ended. That was pretty much it. We'll run laps around the fucking cage, like we were
Yeah,
gonna go somewhere, and then we start doing burpees, push-ups.
yeah.
And then if something had to happen, then it just happens right there. We had to hit the
So
gate on somebody, or
yeah, so how was it when you got out?
it was a trip, bro. First of all, I was fucking happy as fuck. I
Yeah,
never thought I thought I see the day, because few times I caught I went on non-com, ready to go ship to court.
yeah,
And fortunately for me, it was all DA reject. They were like, that's not serious enough, or they don't have evidence enough.
yeah,
So I didn't think I was gonna make it out here.
yeah,
I wasn't shooting to not make it out. I was fucking hoping that I can get out here,
yeah.
but I didn't think that I was gonna make it out here. So luckily when I got out, I was ecstatic. I forgot how it felt to be free.
Damn.
Because I wasn't there, right? But I had a mental prison too because I was locked into the politics, locked
hmm
into the game, and so just to not have that pressure on you, because I don't know if you remember how I got towards the end. Well, if you heard how I got towards the end right there, it was pretty bad. Like the homies had a fucking fight for their fucking just to maintain themselves alive as an organization.
Oh shit.
Um, yeah, that was fucking me up big time in there because I was just trying to find ways to to get us back on the line. So and it was hard because
So
there
what
was
they
a
doing?
big,
Just slamming down homies and shit.
bro. We were the ones that were served up.
How'd that happen?
It just I think it happened internally. The first it started with us. Like some homies didn't want to have one program. Some homies wanted to do extras and they want to be different and they wanted to be special and then from that there was a divide between us and them. That's the number one rule of the fucking man. You divide and you conquer.
Mm.
So once we had that division, there was no common ground, and then so the main line started breaking apart. Because
Yeah,
now
yeah,
you have
yeah. I interviewed Trippy, my boy Trippy from my neighborhood and shit. He got to YA way after me, and he
yeah
was telling me that they would rush homies on the main line,
yeah
and I kind of
they
didn't
were no
understand
good.
why.
They
Damn,
were
that's
no good,
crazy.
bro. Yeah, yeah. It's because like we'd be in the rock and you already know in TS it was more like, hey, if the homie tells you that's palabra. You gotta
Yeah,
you don't question it. You do first, ask questions last.
yeah,
So we would tell homies, like we'll be like chucking up the hood or whatever, or and see if we get a reaction. Some fools be right there walking the line, looking bald, looking like homies, right?
yeah,
So they're chucking their hood, and we'll be like, hey, what's up? Hey, that fool in your compa, blah blah blah. Get that fool. Fool, no good,
yeah,
and they'll just like wave us off,
yeah,
and that wave off, became like the homie be like, hey, what the fuck, fool, get with the program. Yeah, I know your homie's right here, blah, 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 you know, and then they'll start shooting at us now.
Damn.
You know what I'm saying? It got that bad. So it was like they were the ones buying, like, okay, I'm gonna go home on time.
Yeah.
You're not gonna disturb my program because your ass is in fucking lockup, you know, pretty much. That's how they took it.
Yeah.
But that's not how it was. You know, the homies were really just trying to tell them, fool, like, hey, that fool ain't no good. If you still claim a hood, you're still running with this organization, right?
Yeah.
At the very minimum, do that, you know. If you want to go home, that's cool. You could go home after. But at least do that. And not it just didn't work. And I think I attribute that to like the division between homies.
Yeah.
You know, if we could have got together, we could have made some shit happen. But once the staff knew that there was a fucking loophole, they exploited the fuck out of it, and they kept going at it with that. You know, so after they got us out of the main line, that was it. We lost everything.
What year did that start happening?
I would say it started like in 2008.
Damn.
Yeah.
So that was a trip then. So you got busted in 99. That's what, your 9th year in there?
Yeah.
How was it to see that happen? Like 9 years in, like just a change. Cause like everything that you've ever known is just different now.
That's kind of when I started fucking looking at my decisions, at life, and what I wanted to do, the direction I want to go into, because, you know, I was telling the homie Poison, like, dog, this shit's not gonna stop, bro.
Mm-hmm.
This is eventually gonna translate into prison system. It ain't gonna happen now. It may not even happen in our lifetime, but eventually it will, you know?
Yeah.
So it's like we go out there, we keep doing what we're doing. This is what I was thinking, you know, just to myself.
Yeah.
End up in prison, and then I'm gonna have to run into these J cats again, you know? So I'm like, I'm cool. I don't want to be in that situation. It felt like shit, bro. I'm telling you, you couldn't do shit because you were locked up. They had your hands binded.
Yeah.
So, you know, that's a fucked up feeling, you know, because, you know, usually we're able to move and you know, we're able to have motion, but yeah, they crippled us pretty much.
Damn. So when you said you didn't want to go back, did you have a plan? Did you make any plans during that time, or were you just gonna play it by ear when you got out?
No, I've always been the kind of guy that read books. Like a lot of homies used to call me el profe right there, you know, just fucking around.
Yeah.
Because I was all into the culture, still am, into the history, you know, and so I used to shoot homies literature. I would try to like straighten their minds. So I'm like, you know, we all work out, that's one thing, but you know, you gotta straighten that fucking thing upstairs, you know. So I used to give homies literature, and fucking we used to chop it up sometimes, and we'll be in the rec yard. I'll be chopping it up with them, just spitting game, you know, getting them to think, you know, more how can I say, analytically about everything, you know.
Yeah.
So have them question, because you know we have a lot of like assumptions and norms that we think are factual, right? Like you look at your history, you're like, oh no, we're Mexican, we're this, we're that, but you don't question it, right? You don't question it. Hey, how do you think we got here? How do you think you got that? How do you get? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so once you break up that paradigm, once you break up that linear paradigm, and you start branching out into different things, into how we came about to be how we are, now their critical mindset changes. You know, they start questioning everything. It's like an exercise for their brain.
Yeah.
You know, so once you get the homies into that thing, into that trip right there, it just without you knowing it, you start them into a whole fucking road. You know, it's not a rabbit hole. It's more like a path where you're just like, all right, everything isn't what it seems.
Mm-hmm.
We can fucking explore even deeper. So they're exercising their brains pretty much.
And you know what the trip is when you look into it, identity is very important, right?
Right.
So for me, like, and I don't mean like, oh, it's important that you have to identify or whatever. I just say, like, to a person, they want to know who they are. As a person, you want to know who you are, right? So
right.
when I first started changing, and there was a time where I was like, damn, I don't even feel like a fucking gangster anymore. Like, what the fuck am I? I'm working at a bank. You know what I mean? Like, what the fuck? Like, what is this shit? like what am I, right? So I felt lost for a little bit, and what really helped me out was really embracing my, the culture, right? I'm indigenous. Right. That's what I am. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, because before it's like, oh, I'm a Chicano from the streets. That's it. That's what I am. It's like,
You're that too, though. You know.
yeah. I still am. Yeah. But it's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm not out there anymore. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I kind of felt lost. Who am I? What am I? And that kind of helped me like really solidify like my stance. Okay, this is who I am. Yeah, I'm from the streets, but right now I'm an indigenous man trying to maintain, trying to come up.
Right. Yeah, I feel like identity has a lot of very important in developing somebody like someone's character, their self-awareness, their self-esteem. I feel like if all our lives we've been pretty much downtrodden, like told that we're fucking invaders and we're fucking taking people's jobs, and then all the fucking different racial epithets that we've been fucking thrown at,
Yeah,
and so shit like that, I mean, it kind of subconsciously brings you down, even though it never happened to us on a personal level directly. It's the consensus, that's how the majority of society, you know, puts us into that category. Like they're stereotypes, right? And
yeah,
stereotypes are very important because they affect us, as a community.
yeah,
So it's important that we break that train of thought where you start thinking like, am I this? Like that should never even be a question, right?
yeah.
So this is why you're not, and then that's when you give them the info.
Mm-hmm.
And especially with kids, man, because they're growing up already into a fucked up environment. Especially right now with the political fucking atmosphere. You have a lot of people that are just fucking willy nilly, just throwing it out there like nothing, just casually.
Yeah,
And this is what they hear. So they need something to be proud of. They need something to fall back on. Not to be fucking cliche, but you fucking heard, like if in order for you to know where you're going, you got to know where you're coming from, and that's a
yeah,
very true statement. And I stay behind it because I've seen it happen to a lot of people, where they had no direction, they had no care, no sense of identity, and now they're just like, bam, this is what I am, and I'm proud of it,
yeah.
and
Hell yeah,
pride, is can be dangerous in some sense, but it can also be a good thing, the healthy pride where you're actually proud of yourself, gives you confidence, it gives you all kind of shit,
yeah, hell
yeah,
yeah.
but
And it's a trip, now let's especially like even the YTS at times, like the green lighters, how they would woof and shit, right?
Mhm.
That kind of prepared me because like when you're behind the door, what could you do? You can't get fucking too angry. You can't do shit, right?
Right.
So it's just like whatever. Like when I see these fools, when I catch them, I catch them. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
fuck,
yeah, yeah.
you're not gonna go, oh fuck you, start going all nuts and shit. It's just like whatever, man. So like I know you said like some people experience it, some people don't. Well, me working for a bank, right?
Right.
I would answer the phone like this. Hi, like, hi, it's Javier Raygoza from Bank of America. How can I help you today? And I'm not lying. People would say, I want to talk to somebody in America. And I'd be like, well, I am. I'm in California. I don't believe you. You're in Mexico or you're in El Salvador. You just like, fools are just like, they'll get real racist and shit, right? And
Yeah.
YA kind of prepared me for that shit because it's just like, I'm used to, like, not used to it, but I can deal with people being disrespectful and me not being able to catch them and not being like too worked up about it. Because
Right, 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 right.
I would see people cry, like oh this guy like basically not in YA but on at the bank setting. I would see people cry like this guy's disrespectful. He's disrespecting my race. He got racist. And for me, I'm like, man, you motherfuckers going to make it in YA.
Yeah, that's funny. A lot of people will make it away. That's crazy. The Yeah, I mean, you just develop the shell, because like you said,
Yeah,
you can't really do shit. It's not like he's doing it in front of your face.
yeah,
You know, I guess it gives us a little pleasure to know that they would never do that in front of our face.
yeah.
Yeah. So that's another thing. So what can you do? You're not gonna work yourself up. You just fucking take it as a little fucking joke and whatever.
So let's get into so you're free. Let's get into that portion now. You're free. You really how what year is it?
I left 2010 September.
September of 2010. You got busted in 99. So that's 11 years. You fucking missed fucking MySpace. You know what I mean? Like that's
Yeah,
that's how long you were gone. Like MySpace rose to the top and dropped while you were fucking busted. Well,
I was in the era of Facebook and the beginning of Twitter
yeah,
at
that's a
that time.
trip. That's a trip, man. So you missed MySpace. You flip phones. Were flip phones out?
Yeah. I had a flip phone in there.
Oh,
Um,
okay.
yeah, you know what started coming out was the smartphones.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and that's
my first
brand new.
smartphone was the touch screen, all that.
How
Yeah,
was
I
that
remember.
to get out to these motherfucking computers in your hands and shit?
I mean, I tripped out on them, from just a regular flip phone,
Yeah,
because you still had like internet, you still had like text messaging, it's like that's like an instant email, right there.
yeah.
So I mean, I had an iPod in there,
Oh shit,
so
for real?
yeah. So I mean, I already knew how to use like the touch screen and all that. So
Yeah.
yeah, in terms of that, I mean, I was already kind of adapting to it.
Mhm.
And the first generation of smartphones, they're not what they are today, so
Yeah.
yeah, they were pretty slow.
So
So yeah, I mean,
you got out right on time to kind of adapt to everything.
yeah, because that was like I think it was like the second year or third year. Yeah, I think it was the second year after the first inauguration of the iPhone, or the first iPhone.
Yeah.
I believe the iPhone 1 came out in 2008. So I came out in 2010, and I think that's around the time that Android started making all their devices.
Yeah.
So
So
I had like
you weren't too
I
far
was right
behind.
there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did it feel like you came into a whole new world because there is a huge difference between 99 and 2010?
Yes and no. Um, yes, because obviously everybody before, it was a different, get down, like right now you see people that look down at their phones all the time, and
Mhm.
they're all like trying to get that like Facebook fame, Twitter fame, like shit like that. It
Yeah.
was a whole different thing in that sense, where like a lot of the activity that society was partaking in
Mhm.
happened online in some way or form. It's to some extension, like you'll post up something that you were at a party, at a fucking club, and tag all kind of people, so that to me was a trip, because I was like,
Yeah.
what the you're having fun in Facebook, right? That's what you're putting there, but you're not even enjoying it because you're putting everything on Facebook, so it's like I was like, I don't know. That was a trip, but we all had to be part of it. You kind of
Yeah.
got forced into, you got swallowed by that vortex,
Yeah.
because if you're trying to make shit happen, which I was at that time, because I came out and I told myself like, fuck, I'm gonna have to do something very dramatic out here. I
Yeah.
have to I have to leave a fucking footprint, because if not, I'm gonna get swallowed into like complacency,
Yeah.
So it was everything was different, like, but then it wasn't, because I went back to my old hometown, and then everything looked exactly the same,
Damn,
you
that's a
know
trip.
and but the biggest change for me was just the cultural shock that
Mhm.
I had when I left, because in there it's just a bunch of toxicity, negativity, you know obviously, we all had our good moments in there. Fucking some of the best times we had, pretty sure we all can agree, were in there.
Yeah.
You're meeting the certain homies, fucking vibing with them, chilling with them, and then the personalities in there were so different and fucking comical. It's
Yeah.
the shit. You don't
Yeah.
get that out here. You don't get that out here. Every now and then you run into people that you really like, but it's not the same. You don't have that same camaraderie that you have in there.
Yeah.
Um, so the cultural aspect, that transition was a big shock to me. Um, you know, at first, especially because I was used to people talking to me a certain way.
Mm.
So if somebody disregarded me or did something like that, it's kind of like that scene from American Me. Hey, when you talk to me, look at me. Hey,
Yeah,
you know
look
what I
at me.
mean? Like,
Yeah, yeah.
looking, yeah, yeah, it was kind of like that, but it not necessarily, I wasn't that crazy, but it was just more like, hey, don't fucking talk to me in a dismissive manner.
Yeah.
Even my brother, he was like, bro, you fucking tripping,
Calling about catching blind and shit.
You're like, hey, fool, like, people don't know who you are, fool, like,
Yeah.
I know you got your respect in there, whatever, but out here, dog, you know what I'm saying? Like, everybody, they don't know who this, so they're not making any assumptions.
Yeah, that's a big one. How was it knowing like, because for me, when I started working at Bank of America, right?
Yeah.
If I told somebody I'm cricket from Flores, that holds no weight. They probably don't even know what the fuck that means. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
well, what are you talking
They're
about?
like, are you a cricket?
Yeah. You're a cricket that lives in like in the garden, or what are you talking about? Like I don't get it, right? So fucking so like, how did it feel like you boy from Orchard, right? Like
Right.
like to somebody outside that would mean nothing. How did that feel to you when you got out? Like that really didn't hold the significant weight out here as it did inside those walls.
Yeah, it's because like I said, is the cultural divide, right? Like you have out here, you have society that never stopped going, right?
Yeah,
And I hit the pause button in 99 and went into a different, subsection of society.
yeah,
So and that shit was fucking, it's a gang subculture. That's what it is.
yeah,
So I'm spending all that time there, and then I press play again in 2010, but society never stopped. You know what I
yeah,
mean? So, you know, maybe even in 99, they would have caught, some of the aspects of our subculture. They would have been
yeah,
respectful. They would have done all that because they know that, gangs exist and there's people that take things in a certain way, you know? But in 2010, nobody cared about that shit.
yeah,
Everybody was over it. Everybody's wearing skinny jeans and shuffling and doing all that.
yeah,
So all that shit is like they're fucking oblivious to that. So, and unless they were like active or former gang members, then they'll know, And those
yeah,
usually those were the guys that were more respectful, because they know what's up. But out here, yeah, people are I felt like they were disrespectful as fuck. They you talk to an elder and mande, usted, they were like, tú, y que, so to me it was like, what the fuck happened?
yeah,
I mean, there's always been cases like that, but it's just like now it was more common, and I
yeah.
wasn't used to that shit.
It was more common because there's less consequences too. Like you ain't gonna go smack these little motherfuckers up. So it's
Right.
like, yeah,
Or maybe it was just me, that I noticed it more now.
yeah,
It could be a variation of that too. So I don't know, man, but that to me was a big fucking like a big shocker, and to adapt to that was the hardest thing that I had to deal with out here.
damn. So what did you do to ensure that you would stay out here?
I knew from the beginning what I had to do for me not to go back into a situation where I had to where I was either at risk um or likely to go to jail, right?
Yeah.
I had to change my circle.
Mm.
I told you this before. I went up to the homies and I just kind of told them like, bro, I'm done. I'm gonna chill out here. I'm not a fake guy, so I'm not gonna sit here and tell you like, hey, look, I'm gonna be halfway in the hood and then halfway out here because I don't want to go to jail. I'm gonna
Yeah.
tell you right now, this is a decision that we all have to make.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if you're real to yourself,
Yeah.
if you're real to yourself, you're gonna tell yourself like, hey, look, of course, we're always gonna be from that. It's part of our history, it's
Yeah,
part of
for
our
sure.
past, it's part of our life, a big part of our life. So in order, you can't deny it either. But I had to be real with them. I had to tell them like I'm not gonna be actively fucking doing this shit anymore.
Yeah.
Homies were cool. They were just like, fuck it, do what you gotta do, man. You already fucking you put the hood on the map in YA.
Yeah.
You know? And they were happy, because a lot of them knew me when I was a kid, when I
Yeah.
was like 11, 12, So they were just like, we didn't even want your ass to be fucking in the hood in the first place. We used to try to keep your little ass away,
Yeah.
So, and especially because, some of my homies, I knew like their wife, I kind of introduced them to them. So, and the wives kind of had like a little soft spot for me, like a little kid, like, oh,
Yeah. Yeah. Little homie and shit.
yeah, they'll be like, hey, don't fucking give that foolish shit. Don't,
Yeah.
So, yeah. So yeah, that was a decision that I had to make. And I knew I had to make that decision truthfully with myself,
Yeah.
to just be like, you know what? I know I'm not going to be perfect because I sure the fuck wasn't. Got into shit out here that kind of made you, if I was to tell you that, the shit that I've been out, been through out here, is you'd be like, well, you never changed. No, I
Yeah.
did change. It's just that, we still hold on to some things that, we can't, get rid of like as quick as you would like.
Yeah.
So, that was the first decision, just to minimize that, that aspect of risk. And the other one was like, I surrounded myself with people that are out of my comfort zone, like people that do different things, like I was getting into activism, I was getting into the indigenous movement, I was getting into music. So I was around a lot of artists from all genres, like, painting.
2010 too. That was around the time of Dapple too, right?
No. The Dakota Access Pipeline happened like in 2000. It was 2000. I want to say 12
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it was around that. I know
or
it was
11 or 11.
close to that time. Yeah, because I remember Obama was still in office.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm not sure if it was at the end of his first term or on the beginning of his second term.
Yeah, it
But
might have been. Yeah, you're right. It might have been the beginning of second term, 2012 ish.
yeah. So yeah, I was into all that shit, bro.
Mhm.
And I think a lot of the the people that I surrounded myself with, they brushed off, they brushed off on me, so I developed a lot of their kind of likings, characteristics, values, principles, which are a lot different than what we're typically used to,
Yeah,
dear to our heart, but after that, kind of like you kind of reset your priorities, and then now it's just no longer about what you think people think about you, because obviously everybody's gonna have an idea of who you are,
hmm
and a perception of who you are, but you cannot change everybody's mind, and it'll be a fool's errand to try to run around and change everybody's mind.
yeah,
There's gonna be a point where you're not gonna be able to,
yeah,
even if you
yeah.
try to go by force. So yeah, it's just kind of just giving up all that shit, and it just happened slowly, but surely, it just every year, every month that I fucking fought harder to try to stay away from my old habits, it was a better, transition into what I became today, so.
Was there ever a point where you were like, you found yourself somewhere and you're just tripping out, like, damn, I fucking made it all the way out here. Like, how the fuck did I get here? And if so,
Yeah,
when was that moment?
it was right after my daughter was born.
Mhm.
My daughter's 5 years old right now, but just being like, just looking at her and just like fucking, it just brings something out of you, just like,
Yeah,
and, and then it's just like, it's crazy because I was telling Pablo too, like, I can't remember what it was to be like the old me anymore. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Like the little young, Andy and shit running around the streets, or running amok and why, like, I don't remember that shit no more. Like, and it's crazy. It gets me a little scared because I'm like, what the fuck? Like, did that actually happen?
yeah,
Or did
yeah,
I dream it all? You know what I'm saying? And
yeah,
it's a trip because people that I meet today, they'll be like, if you would have never told me, because I look way different right now, and
yeah,
I'm sorry for all your listeners, man. I wish I could do the video, but I was telling Chris that I can't really do it because there's a lot of I'm in the public a lot, so
yeah,
if my employers or anything like that would get hands of my history, because I didn't note it down in my applications,
yeah.
then yeah, I would definitely have a conversation in the office somewhere.
Yeah, no, it's
But
understandable. We appreciate it. We appreciate you taking the time, though, G, for real.
no, that's all good, bro. So yeah, they trip out, for the few people that I do tell,
Yeah,
that are not, part of that lifestyle, that don't already know me, they trip out. They're like, what the fuck? They're just like, you I would have never thought, you know. And then
yeah,
they'll be like, hey, do you have a picture of how you used to look? And I'll be like, yeah. If I was to see you walking down the street, I'll fucking run across the fucking other sidewalk. And it's a trip because I, like, right now you see me and it's just like, dude, this was a nerd. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Um, and it's all good. That's another thing. You gotta, if you want to really change, you kind of have to change, your appearance, because
oh yeah,
what happens is that people, if they see you a certain way, you're just calling, you're calling for attention, and that attention could be good attention, because sometimes I met people that are like, you know what, I'm not gonna change for nobody. I know
yeah,
who I am. I'm gonna be true to that. If that's your path, that's cool.
yeah,
I know people that can pull it off, but a lot of the time that shit goes bad. You know what I'm saying?
yeah,
Somebody to run up on you, and then you never know. Yeah.
yeah.
So
So you mentioned political aspirations, but let me ask, what is the future looking like for Andy?
well, Right now, I'm still learning. I'm still going through. I work in the construction industry right now,
Mhm.
so I'm still going through the through through the chains there to try to figure out how I'm gonna try to get my own business up.
Yeah.
I have a few backers out of state, so as soon as I'm done doing what I have to do here, getting the experience that I need here, taking the classes that I need here,
Yeah.
I'm trying to venture out. So hopefully within a few years.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah. That'll work, man. Well, fucking. I appreciate you taking time to chop it up with us, dog. For real. Much love.
Much love, Craigs, man. Hey, thanks for reaching out, man. You're doing a great thing, man. Don't listen to the haters. I know you don't.
Nah.
You know,
Nah.
you're doing a
It's
great thing, man. This
at
right
times.
here, yeah, go for it.
At times it's funny, but nah. I don't really take. You mean like you said, you can't listen to that shit. You just laugh it off. Like it is what it is, dog. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're doing a great thing, man. So I want to thank you on behalf of everybody out there that I'm pretty sure are enjoying your shows, man. Because I know a lot of people will say you're glorifying like the culture, the subculture, whatnot, but it's a little deeper than that.
Yeah.
It gives you a more like a head-on grasp of what it is to go through these experiences and also finding a path to get out of it. You know what I'm saying? If that's what you choose to do. If not, then you continue to do it. You already know what it is, and you may not need to hear this anymore. But for those people that are out here struggling, because I know there's a lot of homies that get out. I was fortunate enough to have resources.
Yeah.
I had a lot of resources. So I know there's a lot of homies that don't have it like that. They didn't do their homework in there, so they get out and they don't have shit. But they have an earnest to change. So
Yeah.
this show I feel will help them out in that sense on finding avenues to try to get to that point. So.
Yeah, much love. I appreciate that, dog. And just to add on to that, or what I also wanted to point out is if you noticed, most of the people I bring on, the majority, I'd say 99% of them, I've been out for longer than a year. You know what I mean? For you, you've
Right.
been out for 10 years already, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are the kind of people I try to bring on, because a lot of people don't realize with youth offenders, they end up living lives afterwards. And that's what I
Right.
want to shine light on. I want to shine light on the fact that we often change, we often grow, and that's never highlighted in society. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like, I remember when I got out of YA, I heard 90% of the cats that got out of YA ended up going back. I felt that I was unique because I never
Right.
went back, right? But I didn't realize it just takes some others a little longer to change. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like eventually a lot of people change, dog. And I like, so I think like some people might say, yeah, I'm glorifying this shit, but nah, it's far from that. I'm trying to show the growth. Because you have to measure that growth, right?
Right.
And starting point and where we're at today. And that's always what I try to point out. Like, yeah, these are the stories of people that have went through this system. These are the stories of people that have trauma. There's trauma. There's emotional trauma. There's physical abuse. There's all kinds of different things that have happened, right? And they have overcome that. And that's always what I want to point out, that most of I'd say 99% of the people that I've talked to, well, all of the youth offenders, I could say, all the youth offenders that I talk to are strong-willed individuals. And I'm proud of each and every one of you guys, because you guys all made a conscious decision to say, we ain't going to do that anymore. There's more to life. And that shit, like, every time I hear it, I'm so fucking filled with joy, dog, for real. I'm so happy because I'm like, hell yeah, we ain't what they thought we were.
Right. Well, we're able to enjoy life because we've been through a fucked up, rocky bottom, so, so now the reward is immense, it's greater than anyone else's reward that, just coasted out here.
Yeah.
So, I feel like we kind of hold that a little bit more closer to what we value, as we move forward. So,
Oh yeah.
Man.
Yeah, but I appreciate it, G. And is there anything else you want to say before we wrap it up?
Nah, man, just keep it up, bro. Keep it up. You're doing a great job. And for all those that are out there and are going through this struggle, just keep pushing forward, just like you did in there. Have that same energy that you had in there when you were, running Supermans and doing all that shit. Use it out here, man, and that shit will pay off. There's no way that you're not gonna take steps and you're not gonna move forward. You know, there's no way that you're gonna grind a motherfucking a fucking wall and I have that shit polished. You know,
Yup.
keep going. You know, little by little, you're gonna have some results. So just don't give up, though. You know, don't give
Yup.
up.
Yeah, you know what I always think about is that what they used to clown when they used to say it, but I take that shit to heart when it comes to life now. Don't go out, homie.
That's it.
Yeah, don't go out. You know what I mean?
Have that same energy. That's
Yeah.
you know that's all it takes, dude. That's the one thing that's good and you know and how we were brought up. You know, because you know we never gave up. You know, shit got rough. We got rougher. You know, and we pushed forward. So
Yes, sir.
have that same energy, but just reapply it to life. You'll be all right. You know.
That's right. Well, I appreciate it, Andy. You have a good one. Much love, and thank you for chopping it up with us today.
All right, Javier. You take care, brother. Hey, good seeing you, man.
Much love. Peace. We out.
Peace.